My wedding day turned into a disaster. My family picked a cruise over my vows. Then I discovered their $440,000 heist. This isn't just betrayal. It's my raw, unfiltered account of standing up, revealing their lies, reclaiming my stolen legacy, and watching them fall. Justice is a cold dish. My wedding day should have been a dream. Instead, it became a nightmare. Because as I stood there in my white dress, my heart pounding, I looked out at 3 empty chairs, and then I saw the photo. My entire family, on a cruise ship, toasting champagne, at the exact moment I was saying I do. Can you even fathom that kind of betrayal? I'm Clara, and if you've ever felt like the black sheep, like you were constantly fighting for a place at a table that just wasn't set for you, then maybe you'll understand. When my mom, Sarah, and my dad, David, told me they couldn't afford the 3-hour drive to watch me marry the love of my life, Ben, I cried. But I let it go. I even saved them front row seats, ribbons tied, a foolish sliver of hope still intact. But as I stood there cutting cake with Ben, my maid of honor, Sophie, handed me a phone that would rip that sliver of hope to shreds. There they were. My entire family, Sarah, David, my sister Chloe, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, all of them on the deck of a Caribbean cruise ship, tropical drinks in hand, toasting with champagne. The timestamp? The exact moment I was saying, I do. That photo wasn't just proof of where they were. It was proof of who they'd always been. And the $8,000 they'd spent on that cruise, that was just the beginning of what they'd stolen from me. The countdown to my wedding began exactly 1 week before the big day. 7 days until I'd marry Ben, the man who'd spent 4 years proving that love wasn't supposed to hurt. 7 days until I'd walk down the aisle in a clearance dress that still made me feel like royalty. 7 days until my family would gather to celebrate something that was finally, completely mine. Or so I thought. I was cross-legged on our apartment floor, addressing the last thank you cards. Ben was off on his bachelor camping trip, a 3-day fishing affair. The apartment felt too quiet without him. I put on a wedding planning podcast, the kind with overly cheerful hosts dramatizing cake disasters. Then my phone buzzed. Sarah. I smiled, swiping to answer. She'd been distant lately, but I'd been telling myself for months that wedding planning just makes everyone a little crazy. Hi, Mom, I said, a little too brightly. I was just thinking about you. Did you get the itinerary? The ceremony starts at 4, but I'd love if you could come by the bridal suite around noon for hair and makeup. Clara, honey, her voice had that particular weight. The one she used when she was about to let me down. I'd heard it when she missed my college graduation because Chloe had a dance recital. When she couldn't make my promotion dinner because David's bowling league had playoffs. We need to talk about Saturday. My hand froze on the thank you card. The podcast host's laughter about a collapsed cake sounded tiny, miles away. What about Saturday? There was a pause. I could picture her in our childhood kitchen, probably wiping down counters that were already spotless. Her tell, when she was nervous. We're not going to be able to make it, sweetheart. The words didn't compute. Not able to make it to my wedding? I don't understand. It's just the money, Clara. You know how things have been. The car needed new tires. Property taxes came due. And with gas prices, driving 3 hours each way. It's just not feasible right now. Feasible? She said it like we were discussing a business transaction, not my wedding day. Mom, I offered to help with gas money. Ben's parents have an extra room at their hotel. If you need somewhere to stay, we could. It's not just that. She cut me off, her voice sharper, defensive. Your father's back has been acting up. 3 hours in the car would kill him. And Chloe has that thing with her friends that weekend. That thing with her friends? My voice cracked. Mom, this is my wedding. I know that, Clara. Don't be dramatic. We'll celebrate when you get back. Maybe a nice dinner. Somewhere special. Somewhere special. Like the chain restaurant where they took me after high school graduation, where Chloe got to order dessert because she'd sat through the whole boring ceremony, even though it was my day. Is Dad there? Can I talk to him? He's in the garage. You know how he is. Men and emotions. She gave a hollow laugh. He loves you, sweetheart. We both do. This is just bad timing. Bad timing. Like I'd scheduled my wedding to personally inconvenience them. What about Chloe? Is she? Oh, honey. I should go. The stove timer's going off. We'll call you after. Okay? To hear all about it. Take lots of pictures. She hung up before I could respond. I sat there, phone in hand, staring at the half-written card. Thank you so much for the beautiful serving dish, Ben, and I can't wait to what? Use it at family dinners where my family never shows up? I called David's cell, straight to voicemail. I texted Chloe, Mom says you guys can't make it to the wedding. Please tell me this isn't real. Her response came 3 hours later, sorry, sis. Money's tight for everyone right now. Hope it's beautiful. Love, love. She sent me a heart emoji instead of coming to my wedding. That night, I sat in the bathtub until the water went cold, replaying every conversation from the last 6 months. How Sarah had seemed excited at first, asking about flowers and colors. How that enthusiasm had gradually cooled like a dimmer switch turning down. How David had gone from promising to dance with me to barely mentioning the wedding. Ben called from his campsite, his voice crackling. How's my almost wife doing? I wanted to lie, to shield this last bit of his bachelor celebration from my family's dysfunction. But I'd promised him years ago no more pretending things were fine when they weren't. They're not coming, I said. The silence stretched so long I thought we'd lost connection. My parents, any of them. Sarah, David, Chloe. They said they can't afford it. Clara. His voice was careful, gentle. They drove to Vegas last month for that concert Chloe wanted to see. I know. They bought that new patio furniture set. I know, baby. This isn't about money. I know that, too. We stayed on the phone until his battery died. Him making promises about how our wedding would be perfect anyway. How his family was my family now. How we were building something new and better. I wanted to believe him. I wrapped myself in our comforter, imagining David's face, Sarah's happy tears, Chloe standing beside me. The rest of the week passed in a blur of final fittings and rehearsal dinners. Ben's family enveloped me in warmth. His mom, Maria, taught me their traditional wedding bread recipe. His sisters argued over who would fix my veil. But every kindness felt like a spotlight on what was missing. Should we save them seats? The venue coordinator asked during the rehearsal. For your parents? Sometimes people change their minds last minute. I caught Ben's eye. He gave me the smallest nod. Yes, I said. 3 seats, front row, left side. Hope is a stupid, stubborn thing. The night before the wedding, I couldn't sleep. Ben was at his brother's place. Tradition, Maria had insisted. The apartment felt cavernous. I scrolled through old photos. Christmas 3 years ago. Sarah insisting on matching sweaters. David's arm around me at my college graduation. He'd made it to the party after, at least. Chloe and I at the beach, building sandcastles. In every photo, we looked like a family. A real family. The kind that showed up. I found a video from Chloe's high school graduation. Sarah had filmed it, sniffling with pride. That's my baby, she kept whispering. The camera shook when Chloe walked across the stage because Sarah was clapping so hard. She'd driven 6 hours to be there. Chloe's graduation had been at a college campus 3 towns over. 6 hours. But 3 hours to my wedding was impossible. I called Sarah once more at midnight. Maybe it was the darkness, the lateness, that made me brave. "Clara, is everything okay?" "No," I said. "Nothing's okay. I'm getting married tomorrow, and my family won't be there. We've been over this. Mom, please. Please. I will never ask you for anything else. I'll pay for everything. Gas, hotel, food. I'll never bring it up again. Just please be there." The silence stretched. I could hear David snoring in the background. The tick of their grandfather clock. The one that would go to Chloe someday, just like everything else that mattered. "We can't, Clara. I'm sorry. Try to understand." "I'm trying," I whispered. "I've been trying my whole life." She hung up first. The morning of my wedding dawned bright and clear. One of those perfect October days where the air smells like apple cider and promises. Sophie, my maid of honor, showed up at 7 with coffee and bagels, followed by Ben's sisters with champagne and orange juice. "Today's about joy," Sophie said firmly, catching my eye in the mirror as she pinned my hair. "Nothing else, just joy." I nodded, blinking back tears before they could smudge my makeup. We laughed and danced and toasted with mimosas. I slipped into my dress, and Maria fastened my grandmother Martha's pearls around my neck. The one family heirloom passed directly to me because Martha had known, somehow, that I'd need something that was just mine. At 3:04, we lined up outside the chapel doors. Ben's uncle Leo offered me his arm. He was a good man, sturdy and kind, with laugh lines suggesting a life well lived. But he wasn't my dad. "You're radiant," Uncle Leo said. "Ben's a lucky man." "Thank you," I managed. The music swelled. The doors opened. 200 faces turned to look at me. And my eyes went immediately to the front left row. 3 empty chairs. Ribbons tied to their backs. Placed cards with names that felt like fresh wounds. Sarah. David. Chloe. But then I saw Ben, and the world narrowed to just him. He was crying already, not even trying to hide it, his hand over his heart like he was physically trying to hold it in his chest. His brother whispered something, probably teasing him. But Ben never looked away from me. Each step down the aisle was a choice. A choice to move forward instead of looking back. A choice to run towards something instead of away from everything. Uncle Leo squeezed my arm as we reached the altar, kissing my cheek before placing my hand in Ben's. "You came," Ben whispered. "Just for me. Where else would I be?" The ceremony was everything we planned and nothing like I'd imagined. Ben's vows made everyone cry. Mine made everyone laugh, then cry again. When the officiant said, "You may kiss the bride," Ben dipped me like we were in an old movie. And everyone cheered so loud it echoed off the chapel rafters. We were married. Despite everything, we were married. The reception was in full swing. Toasts. Dancing. Ben's dad teaching everyone some Estonian folk dance from his childhood. Sophie pulled me aside during the cake cutting. "Clara," she said, her voice strange. "Don't look now, but..." "What?" She handed me Ben's phone. "Your mom's been tagged in something. I thought you should see it before anyone else mentions it." My hands were still sticky with wedding cake frosting when I saw it. The photo was posted 2 hours ago, while I was saying I do. And there they were, all of them. Sarah, David, Chloe, my aunts and uncles, my cousins, everyone who'd said they couldn't afford to come to my wedding. They were on the deck of a cruise ship, tropical drinks in hand, wearing matching Franklin Family Reunion 2024 t-shirts. The caption, posted by Aunt Eleanor, "Best family vacation ever." So blessed to have everyone together. Hashtag ship, hashtag sun, hashtag water, hashtag wave. Everyone. Everyone except me. The phone slipped from my hand. Sophie caught it, her face pale. Clara, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have shown you. No. My voice sounded strange, detached. No, I needed to see. Ben appeared at my elbow, his face flushed from dancing with Maria. Hey, beautiful. They're about to. He stopped, seeing our faces. What's wrong? Sophie wordlessly handed him the phone. I watched his expression change. Watched the joy drain from his face like water from a broken cup. Are you *****ing kidding me? Ben snarled. No, Clara. This is, he scrolled through the photos, his jaw tightening with each swipe. This one's from yesterday. They're at the port. Your dad's wearing a Hawaiian shirt that still has the price tag on it. Yesterday. They were at a port yesterday, probably in Florida, at least an 8-hour drive from home. They'd had to book this weeks ago, months ago, when I was sending them save the dates, when I was begging them to be here. I need a minute, I said. I locked myself in the bridal suite, still hearing the music and laughter from the reception below. My wedding was happening without me, just like that cruise was happening without me. The perfect metaphor for my entire life. I sat on the floor, not caring about my dress, and went through every tagged photo with the dedication of a detective at a crime scene. There was Chloe posing in a white sundress on what they called formal night. The dress looked new, expensive. How much had that cost? More than gas money, certainly. There was David playing shuffleboard with my Uncle Robert, the same uncle who'd sent a card saying he was too under the weather to travel. There was Sarah at what looked like a champagne breakfast, raising a glass with my Aunt Susan. The timestamp showed it was posted at exactly 4 p.m., the exact moment I was walking down the aisle. But the worst photo was buried in the comments. My cousin Noah had posted it, probably drunk. The whole family in the ship's ballroom, dressed in white, raising their glasses while David gave some kind of speech. The caption, Uncle David's toast to family. The ones who matter most always find a way to be together. Glad we skipped the drama for this. Skipped the drama. My wedding was the drama. I zoomed in on the photo, looking at their faces. They were all laughing, happy. Not a single person looking guilty or sad or like they wished they were somewhere else. Like they wished they were with me. A knock at the door. Ben's voice. Can I come in? I unlocked it and he slipped inside, bringing me a glass of water and a piece of our wedding cake. Thought you should eat something. I can't. He sat beside me on the floor, pulling me against him. I want to drive to that port and throw every single one of them overboard, he murmured. It's international waters. You'd probably get away with it. Don't tempt me. He kissed my temple. What do you need? I need to understand why I wasn't enough. Why I'm never enough. Hey. He turned my face to his. You're more than enough. You're everything. They're the ones who aren't enough. They're the ones who are broken. Then why does it hurt like I'm the broken one? He didn't have an answer for that. Sophie knocked, then entered with my phone. Your mom's calling. She must have seen that people saw the posts. I stared at the screen, watching her name flash. Then I declined the call. No. She doesn't get to explain this away. Not this time. My phone immediately started buzzing with texts. Mom, it's not what it looks like. Mom, we booked this before we knew your wedding date. Mom, Chloe really needed this after her breakup. Mom, you know we love you. Mom, why aren't you answering? Mom, this is exactly why we didn't tell you. We knew you'd be dramatic. I turned off my phone. Come on, Sophie said, pulling me to my feet. You have a room full of people who actually showed up for you. Let's go celebrate that. We went back to the reception. I danced with Ben's father, who whispered, "You're the daughter I always wanted," in my ear. I laughed at the best man's speech. I threw my bouquet. Ben's cousin caught it. I smiled for photos, but inside I was cataloging every lie, every excuse, every time they'd chosen someone or something else over me. The birthday party they'd missed because Chloe had a sleepover. The scholarship ceremony they'd skipped because it was raining. The holiday dinners where I'd cook for hours only to eat alone because something came up. Always something. During our first dance, Ben held me close and whispered, "We're going to build something better. A family that shows up." What if I don't know how? What if I'm broken like them? You're not. Know how I know? Because you're here, hurting like hell, and you're still being kind to everyone. You haven't made a scene. You haven't ruined anything for anyone else. You're not them, Clara. You'll never be them. Later, after we'd cut the cake and done all the traditional things, I found myself outside on the venue's balcony with Maria. "Ben told me," she said simply. "About your family." I nodded, not trusting my voice. "My mother missed my wedding, too," Maria said. Said she had the flu. Found out later she went to Atlantic City with her boyfriend instead. How did you forgive her? Maria was quiet for a long moment. I didn't. I just decided to live well despite her. Had beautiful children, built a loving home, created the family I'd wished for. The best revenge isn't actually revenge, Clara. It's joy. Joy they can't touch or ruin or take credit for. They posted photos during my ceremony. During the exact moment. I know, sweetheart. And someday when they're old and wondering why their daughter doesn't visit, why their grandchildren don't know them, they'll remember those photos. They'll remember choosing a cruise over your wedding, and they'll have to live with that. What if they don't care? Then you'll have wasted less time figuring that out. We went back inside for the last dance. The DJ played At Last by Etta James, and Ben held me like I was made of spun gold. The 3 empty chairs sat there still. Ribbons, perfect place cards, unmarred. Physical proof that I'd saved space for people who couldn't be bothered to show up. As we swayed, I saw Ben's sister taking photos, carefully framing out those empty chairs, protecting me, even in the documentation. That's what family does. I realized. They protect you from hurt, not cause it. The reception ended with sparklers and cheers. Everyone lined up to wish us well. As we ran to the waiting car, in the back seat, finally alone, I turned my phone back on. 47 missed calls. 112 texts. The cruise photos had made their way through my extended network. People were figuring it out, putting pieces together. But there was one message that stopped me cold. From someone I didn't recognize, a friend of Sarah's named Brenda. Clara. I'm so sorry about what they did. You should know your father withdrew $8,000 from the joint account last month for that cruise. The account your grandfather set up. That wasn't his money to take. I read Brenda's message 3 times before the words actually penetrated. The joint account. Grandpa's account. $8,000. Ben. My voice came out strangled. He was rubbing my back, trying to help me calm down from the emotional tsunami of the last few hours. What is it? I handed him my phone, watched his eyes skim the message, watched his expression shift from confusion to understanding to rage. That account, that's the one with your name on it. From when you were 18? I nodded. When I turned 18, my grandfather had taken me to the bank, added me to an account he'd set up. For your education, he'd said, or emergencies. This is yours, Clara. Just yours. But David was the primary account holder. Something about taxes and being a minor when it was first established. I'd never touched it. Had honestly forgotten it existed after Grandpa died 2 years ago. I'd assumed it was empty or closed. We need to call someone, Ben said. This is theft. It's Saturday night, our wedding night. I don't care if it's Christmas morning. He was already pulling out his phone. My friend Jessica from law school. She handles this kind of thing. Ben, we can't call a lawyer on our wedding night. Watch me. 20 minutes later, we were in our hotel suite. Not exactly the wedding night I'd imagined. With Ben on speaker with Jessica while I pulled up bank websites on his laptop. First things first, Jessica said, her voice all business despite the hour. Clara, can you access the account online? I don't know. I never have before. Try. Use your social and see if you can reset the password. My hands shook as I typed. The account existed. My name was on it, secondary holder, but still there. I reset the password, logged in, and immediately wished I hadn't. The transaction history was like reading a map of my family's betrayal. Starting balance, 3 years ago, $47,000. Grandpa had been saving for me my entire life. Current balance, $2,341. Oh my God, I breathed. Withdrawals scrolled down the page like a grocery list of deception. $8,000 last month for vacation expenses. $5,000 6 months ago, the same week Chloe got her car. $3,500 last year when Sarah redecorated the living room. Transaction after transaction, all authorized by David, draining away what Grandpa had left for me. Clara. Jessica's voice cut through my spiral. This is fraud. Your name is on the account. You never authorized these withdrawals. We can file charges against my father. Against someone who stole from you. The relationship doesn't change the crime. Ben was pacing now, his suit jacket discarded, bow tie hanging loose. There's more, Jessica. If this was meant for Clara, if her grandfather specifically set it aside for her, wouldn't there be documentation? Possibly. Clara, do you have any of your grandfather's papers, a will, anything? I thought of the box under our bed, the one Martha had given me after Grandpa's funeral. For when you need him, she'd said. I never opened it. We do, but not here. It's at home. First thing Monday morning, I need you to file a police report. Then we freeze the account, document everything, and send a formal notice of dispute to your father. Clara, I know this is your family, but they're not, I said quietly. Family doesn't do this. After we hung up, Ben and I sat in silence on the hotel bed, still in our wedding clothes, staring at the laptop screen. The most recent transaction was yesterday morning. $67 for a ship Wi-Fi package. They'd used my inheritance to pay for internet so they could post photos during my wedding. I want to do it, I said. File the report, send the notice, all of it. Are you sure? There's no going back from this. There's no going back anyway. I gestured at my phone, which hadn't stopped buzzing. The cruise photos had gone viral in our small town. People were commenting, sharing, expressing shock. My high school English teacher wrote, I can't believe they missed your wedding for this. Ben Z exclaimed, some people don't deserve the families they have. But my family was fighting back. Chloe posted, people don't know the whole story. Clara has always been dramatic. We needed this vacation for our mental health. Mental health. My sister was using therapy speak to justify abandoning me. Sarah tried damage control. We planned this cruise a year ago. Clara scheduled her wedding knowing we had plans. That was a lie so bold it took my breath away. I'd sent the dates 8 months ago. She'd helped me pick the date. I'm done, I said to Ben. I'm done pretending they love me. Done making excuses. Done being the understanding one. Good, he said fiercely. It's about time. I picked up my phone and typed out a Facebook post. Ben read over my shoulder, "Thank you to everyone who celebrated with us today. To those who couldn't make it, we missed you. To those who chose not to come, your absence was a gift." It showed me who my real family is. P.S. If you're wondering about the empty chairs in the photos, check the cruise tags from today. Sometimes people show you exactly who they are. Believe them. You sure? Ben asked. I hit post. Then I called Jessica back. How soon can you send that notice? I can draft it tonight. Send it first thing in the morning. Do it. My phone rang immediately. Sarah. Declined. David. Declined. Chloe. Declined. Unknown number. Probably one of them on someone else's phone. Declined. Ben gently took my phone. Powered it off. Tomorrow, he said. We'll deal with it all tomorrow. But tomorrow came faster than expected. At 3 a.m., someone knocked on our hotel room door. Hotel security stood there with a man I didn't recognize. Mrs. Peters, this was left for you at the front desk. The gentleman said it was urgent. An envelope. My name in David's handwriting. I waited until security left to open it. Inside, a single sheet of paper, David's careful script, Clara. Stop this now before you ruin everything. You don't understand what you're doing. That money is complicated. Your grandfather's estate is complicated. If you pursue this, you'll destroy more than just our relationship. You'll destroy his legacy. We need to talk in person. No lawyers. No lawyers. I laughed. Actually laughed. Now he wants to talk. Now it's urgent. Ben read the letter, his jaw tight. His legacy. He stole your legacy. My phone, even powered off, seemed to pulse with unspent energy. I knew when I turned it on there would be an avalanche. Messages, calls, accusations, guilt trips, manipulation. Let them panic, Ben said, pulling me back to bed. Let them wonder what you're going to do. Let them feel what it's like to be left out. To not know what's happening, to be powerless. But I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about that account, about Grandpa carefully depositing money over 23 years. Birthday money, Christmas money, probably his Social Security checks toward the end. All for me, all stolen. At 7 a.m., I turned on my phone. 183 missed calls, 294 texts, 47 Facebook notifications. But one message stood out from a number I didn't recognize. Clara, this is Arthur Sterling, your grandfather's attorney. I've been alerted to some concerning activity regarding your grandfather's estate. Please call me immediately. There are things about your inheritance you need to know. I looked at Ben. It's Sunday morning. Call him. Arthur Sterling answered on the first ring. His voice was old but sharp, like aged whiskey. Clara, thank God. I've been trying to reach you for 2 years. 2 years. Since Grandpa died. Your parents told me you weren't interested in dealing with the estate, that you were too busy with school, then work, then wedding planning. Another lie. Mr. Sterling, I've never heard from you. Ever. A long pause. I see. Well, that changes things considerably. Can you meet me tomorrow? There's quite a bit we need to discuss. Bring your husband. You'll want a witness for this. Is it about the account? The one my dad's been draining? Oh, my dear girl, that account is the least of it. Your grandfather left you everything. The house, the investments, the properties. Your parents have been living in your house, Clara. And if what I'm seeing in these bank records is correct, they've been stealing from you for 2 years. The phone slipped from my numb fingers. Ben caught it, took over the conversation, arranged the meeting. I sat on the hotel bed in my wedding nightgown, trying to process what I just heard. My house. They've been living in my house. The house where they told me there wasn't room for me to stay when I visited. The house where they'd said I couldn't have my wedding reception because it would be too much trouble. The house they'd been renovating with my money. Clara. Ben knelt in front of me, taking my hands. We're going to fix this. All of it. They knew, I whispered. This whole time they knew. Every time they said they couldn't afford something, couldn't help me, couldn't be there, they were spending my money, living in my house. My phone buzzed. A text from Chloe. You're destroying this family. I texted back, no, I'm just done being the one who gets destroyed. Then I did something I should have done years ago. I blocked them all. Sarah, David, Chloe. Every aunt and uncle who'd chosen a cruise over my wedding. Every cousin who'd laughed about skipping the drama. What now? Ben asked. Now? I stood up, suddenly feeling stronger than I had in years. Now we go home. We get Grandpa's box. We meet with the lawyer. And we take back everything they stole. Not just the money, my dignity, my self-worth, my belief that I mattered, all of it. And then we build that better family you talked about. The kind that shows up. He kissed me, and for a moment, in that hotel room with the morning sun streaming through the curtains, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Not happy, exactly. Not yet. But free. Free from the weight of trying to earn love that was never going to be given. Free from the lie that I was the problem. Outside, my phone lit up with notifications. The post had been shared over 1,000 times. Messages poured in from people I'd forgotten. Childhood friends, distant relatives, teachers, neighbors, all variations of the same theme, we had no idea. We're so sorry. You deserved better. Yes, I thought. I did deserve better. And finally, I was going to get it. The last text I saw before Ben took my phone away again was from Brenda, Sarah's friend, the one who'd first told me about the theft. Your grandfather would be proud. He always said you were the only one with backbone in that family. Fight them, Clara. Fight them with everything you have. I intended to do exactly that. Monday morning arrived with the kind of crisp clarity that makes you believe in fresh starts. Ben and I sat in Arthur Sterling's office, a wood-paneled room that smelled like leather and old books, the kind of place where important things happened. The box from under our bed sat between us, still unopened. Mr. Sterling looked exactly as I'd imagined, silver-haired, sharp-eyed, wearing a three-piece suit that had probably been his uniform for 40 years. But his expression when he looked at me was soft, almost paternal. Your grandfather talked about you constantly, he said, settling behind his desk. Clara this, Clara that, you were his pride and joy. Then why? My voice cracked. Why did he leave everything in a way that they could steal it? He didn't. Mr. Sterling pulled out a thick folder. Your grandfather was many things, but naive wasn't one of them. He knew exactly what your parents were capable of. He spread documents across the desk like dealing cards, trust papers, bank statements, property deeds. Your grandfather created an ironclad trust. You were to receive everything, the house, the investment accounts, the rental properties, on your 25th birthday, or on your wedding day, whichever came first. Your father was named as temporary executor only to manage things until then. But I'm 26. I've been 26 for 8 months. Yes. And your father was legally required to transfer everything to you last February. He didn't. Ben leaned forward. That's fraud. That's multiple felonies, Mr. Sterling corrected. Your father has been collecting rent from 3 properties, about $4,500 a month. That should have been going to you. He's been living in a house that legally belongs to you, and he's been systematically draining accounts that were supposed to be protected. How much? I asked. Total? How much should I have? Mr. Sterling consulted his papers. Based on the last accounting your grandfather did, plus appreciation and interest, approximately $380,000 in assets, plus another $60,000 in the accounts. The room spun. I grabbed Ben's hand. They told me Grandpa left everything to them, I whispered. That he'd left me some savings bonds that wouldn't mature for years. Open the box, Mr. Sterling said gently. With shaking hands, I lifted the lid. Inside, wrapped in tissue paper, were letters, dozens of them, all addressed to me in Grandpa's spidery handwriting, all dated after his diagnosis. I opened the one on top. My dearest Clara, if you're reading this, I'm gone. And you're probably wondering why I didn't protect you better. The truth is, I tried. I've left you everything because you're the only one who deserves it. Your parents will lie to you. They've been lying to you your whole life. Your father isn't a bad man, but he's weak. And your mother makes him worse. They see you as competition for Chloe, not as a daughter to love. I've watched them dim your light for 23 years. No more. Take what's yours. Don't feel guilty. Build the life you deserve. The lawyer has instructions. Trust Arthur. He promised to find you when the time was right. All my love, Grandpa. P.S. That time you made me soup when I was sick, when you were only 7, you spent your tooth fairy money on the ingredients. That's when I knew you were special. That's when I started saving everything for you. I was sobbing now, ugly crying in this pristine office. Ben rubbed my back while Mr. Sterling quietly pushed a box of tissues across the desk. There's more, he said when I composed myself. Your grandmother Martha knew, too. She set up a separate trust that your parents don't know about. It's smaller, just $50,000, but it's been sitting in an account they can't touch. She wanted you to have options. Why didn't anyone tell me? Your grandfather made me promise to wait until you were married or turned 25. He wanted you to be old enough to handle it, to have support. He glanced at Ben. He would have liked you, young man. He valued people who protected Clara. So, what do we do? Ben asked. First, we file for an immediate injunction to freeze all assets. Then, we file criminal charges for fraud, theft, and breach of fiduciary duty. Your parents will be served papers within 48 hours. What about the house? Legally, it's yours. We can file for immediate eviction. Eviction? My parents would be evicted from the house they'd lived in for 30 years. The house where I'd grown up. But it wasn't their house. It was mine. Grandpa had made sure of it. I need to think about that part, I said. Mr. Sterling nodded. There's no rush on the eviction. But Clara, you need to understand. They've been renovating that house with your money. The new kitchen, the pool they put in last year, the finished basement where Chloe lives rent-free. All of it was paid for with funds that belonged to you. The pool. They'd put in a pool. When I'd asked if I could have my wedding reception there, Sarah had said the backyard was too much of a mess for guests. I opened another letter from the box. Clara, your wedding day is coming. I know it is, even if I won't see it. You'll be beautiful. You'll be loved. You'll be everything they said you couldn't be. Don't invite them if they don't deserve it. Family isn't blood. Family is choice. Choose people who choose you. All my love, Grandpa. How had he known? How had he seen so clearly what I'd refused to see? There's something else, Mr. Sterling said. Your father sent me an email this morning. He showed me his phone. The email was long, rambling, full of accusations and threats, but one line stood out: Clara is being vindictive because we missed her wedding. This is all revenge. Revenge. I laughed bitterly. They stole my inheritance to go on a cruise instead of my wedding, and I'm being vindictive. He also claims you're mentally unstable. That you've always been jealous of Chloe, that this is all a misunderstanding. Of course he does. Ben's phone buzzed. He showed me the screen. A Facebook post from Chloe: my sister is trying to destroy our family over money. She got married and now she thinks she's too good for us. Some people show their true colors when they get a man. Sad. The comments were brutal. Half supporting her, half calling her out for missing my wedding. Someone had screenshotted my original post and put it side by side with the cruise photos. The timestamps were damning. Let them talk, Mr. Sterling advised. Everything they say can be used in court. They're admitting to being on that cruise during your wedding. They're admitting to knowing about the money. They're hanging themselves. We signed papers for the next 2 hours. Injunctions, freezing orders, formal complaints. With each signature, I felt something shift. Not lighter, exactly, but cleaner, like cutting away dead tissue so the healthy parts could heal. As we were leaving, Mr. Sterling handed me one more envelope. Your grandfather left specific instructions. For this to be given to you after your wedding. I opened it in the car. Clara, by now, you know the truth. You know what they took from you, but here's what they could never take: your kindness, your strength, your ability to love despite being unloved. I'm leaving you more than money. I'm leaving you freedom. Freedom to never again beg for scraps of affection. Freedom to build your own family. Freedom to be exactly who you are. Your parents will say terrible things about you. Let them. Your truth is stronger than their lies. Be happy, my dear one. Be so happy it burns them. Grandpa. P.S. That husband of yours. I know you found a good one. Tell him thank you for me for seeing your worth when your family couldn't. For standing by you, for helping you become who you were always meant to be. I folded the letter carefully, looked at Ben. He knew about you. He knew you'd find someone who loved you, right? I miss him. He's here, Ben said, gesturing at our life, our home, our freedom. In every choice you make to value yourself, in every boundary you set, in every moment you choose joy over guilt. The papers were served on a Wednesday. I knew because Sarah called Maria 47 times in 3 hours, begging her to make me see reason. Maria, wise woman that she is, said, "That's terrible, Sarah." Clara is being perfectly reasonable, and hung up. By Thursday, the entire town knew, not because I said anything, but because David went to their church prayer group and asked everyone to pray for their troubled daughter who'd chosen money over family. Someone recorded it. Someone else posted it. Within hours, #ChoseMoney was trending locally, but not the way David intended. People started sharing their own stories. The time my parents had borrowed money from the church fund and never paid it back. The fundraiser they'd organized for Chloe's emergency surgery that turned out to be a nose job. The lies, the manipulation, the pattern of taking advantage of everyone's good nature. But the real turning point came from an unexpected source: Chloe's ex-boyfriend, Daniel. He posted a video that went genuinely viral. I dated Chloe for 3 years, he said, looking directly at the camera. I watched how that family treated Clara. They made her cook Thanksgiving dinner and then told her she couldn't eat with them because the table was full. They took her car without asking and returned it empty. They cashed her birthday checks from relatives and told her the relatives forgot. I watched them destroy that girl's self-worth for sport, and now they're crying because she's fighting back? Good for her. The video had 3 million views in 2 days. My phone became unusable. Interview requests from podcasters, messages from distant relatives I'd never met, friend requests from strangers who'd been through similar situations. I turned it all off, let Ben handle what needed handling. But I did read one message from my cousin Isabella, Chloe's favorite cousin, the one who'd been flower girl at my wedding. Aunt Clara, I saw everything. The way they laugh about you when you're not there, the way they use your recipes and claim they made them, the way they spent your college fund on Chloe's pageant stuff. I'm 17 now and I see it all. When I turn 18, I'm done with them, too. You're brave. You're my hero. Friday morning, we met with Jessica at the courthouse. The injunction had been approved. All accounts were frozen. The properties were under legal review. My parents had 72 hours to provide a full accounting of every penny they'd spent. They've hired a lawyer, Jessica told us. Stephen Price. Ben blanched. The guy who lost the Patterson case? The one who got disbarred for 5 years and just got his license back? That's the one, Jessica confirmed. Apparently, he's the only one who would take the case. That should have been my first clue that things were about to get uglier. Saturday afternoon, while Ben and I were at the grocery store, my phone exploded with notifications. Chloe had done a TikTok live, crying prettily into the camera, claiming I'd been abusive to her throughout her childhood. She said I'd locked her in closets, stolen her things, threatened her. It was all lies, but she was a good actress. She'd learned from Sarah how to play the victim. But she made one crucial mistake. She said, Clara was always jealous that Grandpa loved me more. That's why she's doing this. Within an hour, someone had posted Grandpa's will. The actual document, which was public record. It mentioned Chloe exactly once, leaving her his old golf clubs. Everything else, every single thing, was left to me. The comments turned savage. Girl, he left you golf clubs. Grandpa said, here's some sticks, bye. Imagine lying about a dead man's love for clout. Chloe deleted the video, but the internet is forever. Sunday was quiet. Too quiet. I should have known they were planning something. Monday morning, I woke to find our apartment building surrounded by news vans. Someone, definitely Sarah, had called every media outlet claiming I was holding my elderly parents hostage through legal manipulation, that I was a gold digger who'd married Ben for money, and was now coming after my own family. But they'd miscalculated. The reporters had done their homework. Clara, one called out. Is it true your parents spent your inheritance on a cruise during your wedding? Can you comment on the fraud charges? How does it feel to have your story inspire others to stand up against financial abuse? Ben and I pushed through them without commenting, but I heard one reporter doing a stand-up. The woman being painted as a villain by her family appears to be the victim of systematic financial and emotional abuse spanning years. That afternoon, Mr. Sterling called. Your parents' lawyer has reached out. They want to settle. Of course they do. They're offering to return the house in exchange for dropping all charges. Just the house? What about the hundreds of thousands they stole? They claim that money was family money, used for family expenses. My money used for their expenses. Exactly. I told them no. But Clara, you should know. They're getting desperate. Desperate people do desperate things. He was right. That night, we were at Ben's parents' house for dinner when my phone rang. A no-number local area code. Hello, Clara. This is Officer Miller with the police department. We've just arrested your father. My blood went cold. For the fraud? No, ma'am. He was attempting to break into your apartment. Your neighbor called it in. We rushed home to find 2 police cars outside. David was in the back of one. Sarah screaming at the officers from the sidewalk. Chloe was filming everything, of course. The officers showed us the doorbell camera footage from our neighbor. David, clearly drunk, trying to pick our lock with a credit card like some kind of amateur burglar. When that didn't work, he'd started kicking the door, screaming about taking back his property. "Do you want to press charges?" Officer Miller asked. I looked at David through the police car window. He wasn't looking at me. He was texting on his phone, probably trying to spin this, too. "Yes," I said. "I do." Sarah rushed at me then, and for a second, I thought she might hit me. Ben stepped between us. "How could you?" she shrieked. "Your own father. We raised you." "No," I said, finding my voice. "You raised Chloe. You tolerated me. And you stole from me. Every chance you got. We gave you life. And then you spent 26 years trying to make me wish you hadn't." That shut her up. Maybe it was too harsh. Maybe it was exactly harsh enough. As the police cars pulled away, Chloe approached. "You've ruined everything," she said. "I'm supposed to get married next year. How am I supposed to have a wedding now?" "With your own money," I suggested. "I hate you." "I know," I said sadly. "You always have. The difference is now I don't care." The criminal trial was set for 3 months out, but the civil case moved faster. Within 6 weeks, the judge had ruled in my favor on all counts. The house was mine. The remaining money was mine. The rental properties were mine. David's breaking and entering charge added weight to everything. He had violated the restraining order I'd filed, been caught on camera trying to break into my home, and had sent me 43 threatening texts from the back of the police car. His lawyer dropped him the next day. Sarah tried one last manipulation. She called Maria crying, saying she had cancer and needed her family around her. Maria, wise woman that she is, said, "That's terrible, Helen. Which oncologist are you seeing? I'll send flowers to your next appointment." Sarah hung up and never called again. The house felt strange when I finally walked through it. They'd left in a hurry, forced out by the sheriff, taking only what they could prove was theirs, which wasn't much, as it turned out. Even the furniture had been bought with my money. I found my childhood room exactly as I'd left it when I moved out at 18, not preserved out of love, but forgotten, like I'd been. Chloe's room, meanwhile, had been renovated 3 times. In the basement, I found boxes of my things I thought had been lost. Report cards, art projects, the diary I'd kept in middle school. But also, strangely, photos of me that had been cut out of family pictures. Dozens of them, like they'd been systematically erasing me from the family history. "Creepy," Ben said, looking at a Christmas photo where I'd been carefully scissored out, leaving a hole between Chloe and David. "No," I said, understanding finally hitting me. "It's sad. They had to work so hard to hate me. It took actual effort. We decided to sell the house. I couldn't live there. Couldn't raise children in rooms where I'd been made to feel worthless. But first, I had one last thing to do. I invited everyone. Not my parents or Chloe. They were legally barred from the property. But everyone else. Every aunt, uncle, cousin, family friend who'd chosen that cruise over my wedding. I told them I had an announcement about the house. They came, of course, hoping I'd forgive them, or give them something, or just curious about the drama. The backyard was full, the same backyard where Sarah said I couldn't have my reception. I stood on the deck looking at all these faces that had smiled at me while enabling my abuse. And I felt nothing. They weren't my family. They'd proven that. "I asked you all here," I began, "to tell you the truth. Grandpa left me everything because he saw what you all saw and ignored. He saw how I was treated. He saw the favoritism, the emotional abuse, the neglect. And he tried to fix it the only way he could, by making sure I'd have resources to escape. Aunt Eleanor tried to interrupt. "Clara, we didn't know you were on the cruise," I said flatly. "You posted pictures during my wedding ceremony. You knew." Silence. "I'm selling this house. The money will go into a trust for my future children. They'll never know any of you. They'll never feel less than because of you. They'll never wonder why Grandma loves their cousin more. They'll never be told they're too sensitive when they point out unfairness. You can't cut us all off," Uncle Robert said. "We're family." "No," I said. "You're relatives. Family shows up. Family doesn't steal. Family doesn't lie. Family doesn't choose a cruise over a wedding." I pulled out a stack of papers. "These are cease and desist orders. If any of you contact me, Ben, or our future children, we will pursue harassment charges. This is goodbye." Some cried, some yelled, some just left. But Isabella, my 17-year-old cousin, stayed behind. When I turn 18, can I call you?" she asked. I hugged her. "Always." The house sold in 2 weeks. Cash offer, above asking. The new family had 3 kids and a dog. They were loud and happy, and exactly what that house needed. The trial came and went. David got 18 months probation and had to pay restitution. Sarah got community service. Chloe wasn't charged, but she'd become infamous online. The video of her claiming Grandpa loved her more had been memed to death. She'd had to delete all her social media, and last I heard, was working at a call center 2 towns over. On our first anniversary, Ben surprised me with a trip to the courthouse. Not for anything legal, but to renew our vows. Just us, the judge, and his secretary as witnesses. "I wanted to marry you again," he said. "Now that you know who you really are. Now that you're free." I cried through the whole 5-minute ceremony. That night, we had dinner with his family. My real family now. Maria had made a cake. Ben's sisters had decorated the restaurant's private room. His father made a toast that ended with, "To Clara, who showed us all what strength looks like." Later, as we sat on our apartment balcony, I pulled out one last letter from Grandpa's box. I'd been saving it. The one marked, "Open when you're happy." "Clara, if you're reading this, you've made it. You've broken free. You've chosen yourself. I know it hurt. I know they made you feel like the villain. I know you probably still have days where you wonder if you were wrong. You weren't. Choosing yourself isn't selfish when you've spent your whole life being sacrificed for others. Taking what's yours isn't theft when it was stolen first. Be happy, my dear one. Be so magnificently happy that it makes everyone who hurt you realize what they lost. But more importantly, be happy because you deserve it. You always have. All my love, Grandpa. P.S. That husband of yours. I know you found a good one. Tell him thank you for me. For seeing your worth when your family couldn't. For standing by you, for helping you become who you were always meant to be. I folded the letter carefully. 2 years later, when our daughter was born, we named her Hope, after Grandpa's mother, whose picture I'd found in his papers. A woman who'd also been the black sheep, who'd also chosen herself, who'd also lived magnificently despite her family's disapproval. Sarah sent a card when the birth announcement made the local paper. Just signed, Grandma. I returned it unopened. Chloe reached out once through a lawyer asking if I'd help with her wedding costs since family helps family. I sent back a check for $50. In the memo line, I wrote, the exact amount you gave for my wedding gift. Family helps family equally. The check was never cashed. Last week, I drove past the old house. The new family had painted it yellow, added a swing set, planted a garden. Kids' bikes were scattered on the lawn I'd once mowed while Chloe sunbathed. It looked like a home now. Not a house where someone was tolerated, but a home where everyone was loved. That's what Grandpa gave me in the end. Not just money or property, but the chance to build a home like that. A family like that. A life where showing up isn't exceptional. It's expected. My phone buzzed. Ben texting from work. Dinner at Maria's tonight. She made that soup you love. I smiled, texting back. Wouldn't miss it. Because that's what family does. They show up. And now, finally, so do I. What about you? Have you ever had to choose yourself over the family you were born into? I'd really love to hear your stories in the comments below.